Hey, Panda Tribe. So it's really late here, but I was feeling this really powerful urge to do a reading today, tonight, right now. Um, I wasn't sure exactly what the theme was going to be, and Spirit told me not to think about it, just to get ready and get set up. And then as I was setting up, I was directed to the Moonology deck first. And I knew right away what the message, what the theme of this reading was going to be. And it is the new moon eclipse, which is expect powerful change. Expect powerful change. Isn't that a cool card? I love that little glimmer. You see that little glimmer right here? That little bit. I feel like that's us about to bust through, man. We're just about to bust through that darkness. We're on the other side of the new moon today. Well, it's the 24th. It's late, though. It's going into the 25th right now. You guys probably won't see this till the 25th on Tuesday. But now we're in the waxing moon, right? I believe. So expect powerful change. So the message from our spirit guides is that they want us to know that powerful changes are coming. And I'm going to read the card. By the way, it's on page 94, which is 13. You know I love my numbers. If you want affirmation that you can achieve your dreams and get the desired outcome in the situation you're asking about, then this is it. This is a card of beginnings, and there are powerful energies at work. But be prepared. It could be quite a ride, and events now could even be more jarring and uncomfortable. However, any new directions you take will almost always lead somewhere better than where you are at the moment. Whatever is happening now, it's happening for a reason you'll appreciate later on. A new portal is opening up, and all you have to do is have the courage to forget about the past and move through it. You're being put back on the right path, and there is nothing to fear. The attunement to this moon is never mind the past. Life evolves every single day. The additional meanings for this card is yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. So I guess if you were thinking about something or something drew you to this reading, I don't normally do like a yes, no kind of thing sometimes. And right now I feel like that's what Spirit is trying to say is if you came here for a specific question, or if you've been thinking about maybe a certain direction you should go in, yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. You're led here for a reason. You're being shunted towards your life purpose. Whatever is happening now is happening for your highest good. This is an important turning point in your life. The teaching is new moon eclipses are among the most exciting astrological events. They herald a complete change of pace. It's as though you're headed in one direction, probably being guided by your ego, and then here comes the divine, the goddess or spirit, to turn you instead to face the direction you actually need to go. Regardless of whether or not there's a new moon eclipse happening when you pull this card, it's a powerful affirmation of positive turnarounds. I really love that, because as I've been working, with my shadow self and working, with the dark side through this energy that we've all, been talking about and working through, oh boy, things have been coming up. Oh, look at that. Things have been coming up that have been like really hard for me around my ego, because it's a really slippery slope between ego and soul knowledge. And that's why I love that they brought up the goddess and the spirit, because a lot of you know that one of the teachings I got from Deepak Chopra, and I think he even got it from Rumi, is ego is just, letters for edging God, goddess out. So like edging, the divine out. So basically, if you think you know better, or if you try to control things or whatever, that's your ego. That's a human ego that's been trained, but it's really difficult to, to decipher the two. And what really helps with that is grounding and meditation and alone time and self-care. That stuff really, really helps. It helps give you more clarity. So yeah, so this was our kickoff to this energy reading. from spirit. So expect powerful change. All right, so we'll put this over here. The next card that came out is the balsamic moon, a time for healing. So I'm going to put that right there. Well, you can see it. Put it there. A time for healing. We've gotten this in another reading too. I love the balminess of this card. I know it's dark in here right now, but see, there's like almost like a balminess around it. And when I put my glasses on, I feel like I think like in the background, it kind of looks like water. Do you see that? Almost like really calm water, like it's like a night sky on the sea, but the water's really, really calm. And the best way to heal, right, is to do it in a calm way. You know, how else can we heal if we're not in a calming state? It makes a lot of sense. My camera's not super strong for it to like zoom in on that. I have to give it a little help. I think there's ways to do it in there, but I'm not really sure. So the balsamic moon is on page 38, which is 11, which reminds me of the angels. So pulling this card suggests that the past is the past and a bright future is beckoning. However, before you take your next step, make sure that both you and the situation feel healed. This is not the time to paper over cracks or to simply pretend that everything is okay. I have to interject and say, yes, I've been having that a lot lately because I feel like I've been kind of like holding back. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there's just been this like no more bullshit, no pretending like we're okay, no saying like I'm okay or like glazing things over. We can't glaze it over. We have to get through it because it will keep coming back. And then we're going to be like, how come I can't move forward? Or how come things aren't happening? And it's like, well, because we're glazing over it, right? So it's like if we're not actually doing the work, then nothing, it's not going to get healed. The healing won't take place if we don't do that. So rather, you still need a little more time to heal and to soothe both yourself and anyone else in need. Then remind yourself that anything is possible if you believe it. This is also a time to surrender and wait to hear guidance from the universe. Powerful insights can be had. If you know that someone or something really isn't good for you, this card is a reminder to surrender. Start to work on your behalf in your dreams so you're ready when the time comes. The attunement to the moon is, when one is healed, all are healed. Oh, I like that. Additional meanings are, it's time to let go of the past, you're about to turn the corner, you need more time to heal, and think about how this situation would look if everyone were healed. And this is also going to tie into that last episode that I did for the new moon about being the observer, because we're still in that new moon reading energy, right? We got 9 days, today's the second going into the third day of that new moon healing cycle. So, this makes a lot of sense because we've been talking about like kind of taking ourselves outside of the situation and, looking at it like how would we view it? My own personal thing, I hadn't seen Edward for, I don't know, since last week sometime, and we saw each other for a little bit today, and then he's going to be gone for some time. And it was really nice because I decided to not, first of all, I've gone through so much emotion over the last like 3 or 4 days that he was away while I was working through the energy of Mercury in retrograde and the Piscean energy coming in and, the new moon, yada, yada, yada. But I was starting to understand, like, when he got here, instead of looking at it from the way I had been looking at it, I decided to look at it from like just as an observer, like as this really cool friend of mine, and not a past lover or anything like that, just like my friend, And we ended up having this really great time. We laughed a lot. Like we just and there's a few moments like we just like would look at each other and be like, I miss you, And it's kind of cool because I realized I'm like, you know what, I love that we're honoring and respecting that each one needs our space. Like even now when I was reading this, when it was saying the reminder to surrender and to start to work on your dreams. But what was that part? Oh, someone or something isn't really good for you. He's not right now. Like today was fun and it was great, but I'm glad he's going again because it's like we're better right now, just like kind of seeing each other in small spurts. So if this is going on with your partner or someone that you live with, but you don't have the luxury like we do to like, not spend every day together, then, take more time to be alone, take more time away from each other while you're working through things, especially if you're on here and you're part of this tribe, but your significant other maybe isn't at the same like place that you are spiritually. That can be really challenging right now. I know for myself, like, it's just like when I go out into the public now, like I go and I do my work. I've met so many awesome people over the last few weeks, even. But, I go out and I like talk to people. I bring the medicine to the people. I like kind of spark, it's my job as a muse and a prophet just to kind of like spark them up and, remind them like who they are. But then I come back to my little place and I do my thing. This is where I'm at. But if you're in this tribe, most likely you're kind of in the same place. You're going through a lot of, deaths and rebirths on multiple levels. Everything feels, like a roller coaster, and it's going to feel like that. We've talked about this. The next 4 years are going to be really tumultuous, and you're going to have some weeks that are better and some weeks that are not. And we just have to roll with the punches. And the ones that are difficult, those are the ones where we learn the most. That's the stuff that we learn the most from, Come to the dark side, Luke. Like, I just realized like how funny this looks. Ah, that's so funny. Okay, so let's get the teaching on this one. Patience is required at the time of the balsamic moon. What we're just saying, right? It's a time for self-care as you slowly but surely prepare yourself for the new moon, which is just around the corner. No matter which point in the current moon cycle you have pulled this card, it's a reminder to go a little bit easy on yourself. The time to step into your creative power will come soon enough. So give yourself the time you need. It's awesome. There's a typo here, and creative is actually, they said creatrix power. So I wonder if, is creatrix a word that I'm not aware of? Now I have to look it up. 1132 when I looked it up. Okay, 1132 creatrix. We'll look into that. Look under the description and see. I hope you guys look under this descriptions. I give like stuff all the time underneath there. Okay, so all right. Well, that was amazing. Okay, so yeah, I heard keep going with the Moonology card. I have to turn the heat down. It's interesting, being in Big Camper and being in the mountain valley. It's the weather can change we can be feeling really good and all of a sudden like something will come down from the mountain. I'm like, oh, there we go. Crank that heat back up. And then all of a sudden it goes away and I'm like, oh, I'm hot. The fun things of living in a small, tiny home and my heater, I can move around the whole house, which is 26 by 10 feet. It's interesting. I was saying to Ed before, I said, what's really cool? I said, someday we are going to look back on this and be like, that was the coolest thing we ever did. I said, I'll probably be that person who will have like 150 acres and I'll have like an 8, bedroom, 9 bathroom house for, my spiritual people to come and stay at. And I'll have some tiny little house like up on a hill away from everybody. No, it's probably really going to be true. Okay, so we got this in our other reading, and I lose track now. I've been doing so many, but it's the full moon in Scorpio. Do you remember this one? It's time to release negativity. This is a message from our spirit guide. You guys, this one's been coming up for me too. Now, they're not saying like everything we've done so far is great. Do not even think for 1 second that like you missed something or whatever. You didn't. They're saying like I'm feeling like some of you are thinking like, but I've been trying to be positive. They're like, no. It's okay. Like we weren't meant to be positive, over the last few weeks. Like even now, like we're in this energy. Hold on, I need some water. We're still in a really intensive energy. It's just that now, like we went through that new moon stuff and now we're coming closer. We're, now we've left that energy. The remnants are still here, but now they want you to try, still go through what you need to go through, but try and flip it too. So say you go through something really negative, think of something positive. Let me see if Spirit has, I guess you don't really need an analogy, but you know what I'm saying? So if you're having a bad situation and then you're like, okay, well, that sucked, but well, this happened and now I know better to do X, Y, and Z or not do X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So full moon in Scorpio, 82, number 10. Hey, we're kind of going backwards. We had 13, 11, and now 10. 82. I would normally pause it, but I'm too tired. Okay. And I definitely need my glasses because it's too dark in here. Spirit likes these late night dark readings. If you've been feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop it. Worrying yourself is pointless. It's time to release any negativity you have around the situation you're asking about. If someone has been unkind to you, perhaps it's time for you to release them. This card heralds an emotionally intense time since both the full moon and Scorpio themselves are both extremely intense. It's time for you to feel all your feelings. There could be some nastiness in the air when you pull this card. If that's the case, take it as a sign to move away from anyone or anything you feel is toxic. For some, however, this card has a totally different meaning. Your sex life can improve now, if you can make an effort. So use your magic. You have all the need inside you to bring about your desired result. The attunement to the moon is emote. It's all better out than in. And if you don't know, emote is like put your energy, put your emotions out there, like emote them, emote. Additional meanings is it's time to move on from living fearfully to living joyfully, right? Flipping the script, like we were just saying. You're right to have your suspicions. So they're saying like listening to your gut. Grudges are toxic. Let something go. And the end of an argument. The teaching is the full moon in Scorpio has a sting in its tail. It can herald a vindictive end to a relationship. It can also be a time when we want to be good, but we're naughty. If you pull this card, no matter when, your dark side and your shadow self may be showing. The full moon in Scorpio is also a time of magic. If you are thinking of making some magic, this is your sign to do it. Ooh. Wow. To me, I feel like there's so much going on in this card. I don't feel like I need to elaborate because I feel like who's ever watching this right now, I feel like it hit you where it needed to hit you right at that second. Does that make sense? I feel like the stinger did it for me and did it for spirit. And I'm sure there's a part of you going, yes, I know, or whatever. So we're going to move on. And I just heard no more moonology. I just heard no more moonology. On to the fairies. Okay, on to the fairies it is. On to the fairies it is. Oh, these sweet fairy cards. I love the fairy cards. This one keeps wanting to come out, but we had it last time. So, ooh, this one too. The fairy cards are kind of nutty cuckoo with me. Like, seriously, like they have been giving like crazy awesome energy every time I use them. Like, I feel like they have a mind of their own. So, I think I threw my pendulum, but I don't think I even need my pendulum. I think, oh, this is a card that I pulled. Okay. Oh yeah, we've pulled this card before too. So this one's going to be a little harder, you guys, because like I said, when I ordered them, I thought I was getting the big ones, and they're the little, like, I have really small hands, so they're like playing card size, kind of, a little bit wider. So I'll show it to you, and then I'll put it on there, but I'm going to read what it says. It says, reach out to others for assistance, poor timing for a career change, and feeling challenged by money issues. Okay, so this is really interesting to me, and this is the 5 of Autumn. I want to say Autumn is swords. Wait, where can we put this where you guys can see it? There we go. Can you see it? Hold on. Okay, so this is the 5 of Autumn. So we're going to come back to, I'm just going to put it down here. Oh, wait, I wanted to read it to you guys one more time. So this is what I got from it. So it says to reach out to others for assistance, poor timing for a career change, and feeling challenged by money issues. From what I understand, Autumn is like the wands. So this is the fairy tarot. So that's like the wands, and the wands are all about action. And as far as the earth element, this is fire. So for the action I got, when it says to reach out to others for assistance, that's like the action that they want you like to focus on. Community, finding new friendships, new people, create your, and I'm also hearing like some of you keep searching for the wrong thing. Like you're like latching onto the wrong thing or the wrong people because you're just like, oh, like they're into this or whatever, so I'm going to do this too. And they're kind of like, no, you're kind of taking the easy way out. Like if you want a soul tribe, they're saying then start your own soul tribe. Reach out to your friends and family like in your like local community, or maybe you do it like online, like through, you know, some type of, forum where you guys can all like go online together, or you know what I'm saying? So I'm hearing that. Also for the poor timing for a career change, Mercury's in retrograde right now, and for some reason I keep getting visions of some of you getting really frustrated at work, and you just are like, I'm gonna quit. That's it. I'm just gonna quit. I cannot tell you how many times I quit a job and really regretted it, because and I'm a fire sign, and this is about fire, right? So they're saying like, watch your temper. So just because it's a time of action, it's also a time to like watch your behavior. So really, really like kind of, be mindful of like what's happening around you, and don't take things too personally. Remember the 4 agreements. I'm going to keep saying that over and over. And one of them is not to take things personally. We have to remember as light workers that the other muggles on the planet right now are not in the same place that we are. So, I say this a lot to my clients that, you have to treat people like children. And that doesn't mean you're better than them. That doesn't mean, it's not about that. It's not about lording your power or your ego over them. It's about reminding yourself that you are a high level light being having a human experience, and you were brought here to help guide and teach. Okay. Also, something had come through earlier when I was watching this one reading, talking about the integration of like, if you're that person, like my mom used to always say to me, like, who's the common denominator? When I would have the same problem with men or whatever, she's like, well, who's the common denominator? And I would get frustrated with that, but it's true. But the flip side of that I heard today is that don't look at that as a negative or a bad thing. Some of you were actually brought here as like a sin eater, or like someone who is here to help people like through their dark side. I'm told to keep your eye on the crystal ball. It's your job to help people work through their dark side. So it may seem like you're constantly in a shit show, but you're not. You're actually, that's part of they're saying if you can embrace that part of you and know that you're the light in certain people's lives, that's a beautiful gift. That, maybe I've dated a lot of really horrible, not horrible people, but like people who did horrible things or had horrible behavior patterns. And I used to think it was me, and that I was like kind of like this, asshole magnet or whatever. But I would say to people, like these men I would be with were so beautiful. By the way, I keep looking down and it's like 2022, or like I looked down and it was 2202. It's interesting. A lot of 2s have been coming for me lately. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, people would say, that person's such a jerk, or why are you with them? And I'm like, because they're not like that with me. I was with someone for a really long time that did horrible things to people. Like he stole from people. He had an addiction to drugs, and he would steal from people, or, lie, whatever. I mean, he did plenty of shitty things to me, but he never stole from me. And it was, I know people would get mad at me because they'd be like, you're totally enabling him. Like, just because he didn't do this or that doesn't mean, he's not a bad person. And I'm like, but you don't know him like I do. And, I saw a side of him that nobody else saw. And there's something to that, there's something to that. I feel like if I turn this up a little, I'm like, I want my light back. Anyway, but do you hear what I'm saying? It's like, sometimes we're here for the darkness. Sometimes we're put here to like take care of those people too. They're worthwhile too. They're here learning life lessons too. It's not like we're lording our power over anybody. That's not what it's about. And I keep hearing sin eater, death eater. So for some of you, that means something. Okay, and then the last one was feeling challenged by money woes, money issues. Well, those of you that are being challenged, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Those of you who are being challenged by money issues, you're saying to yourself, how come I keep being challenged? And it's like, well, you're being challenged because you won't listen. You don't want to change your lifestyle. You don't want to change. You want to talk about it. You want to do some of it, but you don't want to do all of it. And then you wonder why things aren't happening. I'm not saying that to be a brat or be mean, but I've gotten through that too, where I'm just like, I'm tired of living like this, or I'm tired of this world or whatever. But I had to like really get pushed into like where I'm at now with my writing for me to get so sick of living like this. Like, okay, well, they're like, you chose this path. You're the one that's not going, further, this victim mode. There's a huge thing going around on the planet right now with people being like, oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. That's part of what's happening because it's part of the exposure. It's part of the truth. Like we have to see our truth. So people are like, oh, I'm being victimized, or that person's doing this to me, or this person's doing that to me. But you know what? That's also part of the ego, because it makes you feel safe and comfortable, right? Oh, I didn't do anything. It's them. They did it to me. It's if they would behave, or if they would stop treating me like this, it's like you have free will to walk away from people. So wait, what did you say? I feel like Spirit told me to read something else. That's so weird. Hold on. Oh, okay. They wanted me to look at the card because there's a lot going on in this card. So this person, I'm trying to make out. It's so dark in here. So it looks like she's trying to hand this. It looks like it's like this young fairy child that has like a bag on the side, like they're bringing something to this person, and then the other person, the woman is she looks like a elvish. She's handing him a loaf of bread, and they told me to look down in here. Oh yeah, so 5 is about imbalance and unstable, and it's about change. Well, we know 5 is about change. We talk about that all the time, but in tarot, it's about imbalance and being unstable. So that's why it's support timing for a career change too. Like they're saying to emphasize on that again too. This is not a time where you want to be like changing jobs. When this energy is this tumultuous, it's like just ride it out. Do whatever you have to do. I don't care if you have to call in sick more or something, you know what I mean? Like do what you have to do. And they're really driving it home about reaching out to others for assistance instead of like clamoring onto somebody else or their ideas or their, whatever, like just making your own way. Like what kind of group do you want? Like what kind of community do you want to be a part of? Like I know with me for my co-op, I joined the co-op last year and it's like the best thing I ever did. Like actually I joined almost 2 years ago, but I'm saying like I started volunteering last summer, and they've become like my family here. Like I love the it's mostly women, but there's some really cool men too. At this co-op, like they've changed my life. Like I don't feel really alone because I know that all I have to do is go into the, like last week I was having a really rough week and I went into the co-op, and it's like before I know it, they're like being my sisters, my mom, my, you know what I mean? They're like, how are you? Like, how are things going? How are you feeling, with your writing and stuff? And like super supportive, so finding your community can be anywhere. It could be at your library, your local library that has groups, or look for local, psychic groups in your area or whatever. That's it. That was the last thing they wanted me to say about that. So that was the 5 of Autumn. And I'll let you guys look at that while we do. I believe we're going to have this card next. But let me ask Spirit. And as always, they're like, we're done. As always, if we get cut off, there'll be a part 2. Like I said, I'm not getting upset about it anymore. It is what it is. I have so much room on my phone. There's absolutely no explanation. Is this the right? Okay. Oh, that's so interesting. Oh, yeah. Boy, my brain's all over the place right now. Okay, so the next one is number 17, and that's the Star card. Can you see it? And go from all angles so we can make sure everybody sees it. The Star card. That's beautiful, isn't it? Let me get my glasses on so I can look at it. So what does Spirit want to tell us in the Star card? Look to the future with hope and optimism, the power of faith to move mountains, happy changes that bring relief from challenging times. Yay! Oh, that's why. Okay. I had a feeling, I felt like Spirit was like, you put that card away too quickly. They wanted me to bring this out again too, because this is about, the theme of our reading is expecting powerful change. And so they want me to like kind of keep this out as like the mascot for us to remember, why we're doing this reading. Even that little glimmer of light, see how it's over there? It's like trying to tell us like, we're so close, we're so close. So look to the future with hope and optimism. Look to the stars. Also, we're all star seeds, right? Like we're all here to change this world. So they're like letting us know, like, it's coming, we've been working on this for a long time, like they're like, it's coming now, they want us to focus on the good stuff So look to the future with hope and optimism, the power of faith to move mountains, happy changes that bring relief from challenging times. So, you know, for some of you who are like having money woes and you're looking at this messages from Spirit to hear, what it is, a lot of them, they're saying you already know what it is. They're saying you already know. You know what it is. You know what you want. When my soul sister was here on Saturday, bringing me the computer, I've known them for almost 3 years now, and it was just such a cool moment when we were talking about all the things they love, and we were doing a reading, and then they said, yes, but I really want to do this, and I don't want to say it just in case they don't want me to put it out there, but they said what they wanted to do, and I was like, really? I'm like, I didn't even know that about you. And they're like, oh yeah, I've been doing that for years. I really want to do that. And I saw them, and I'm like, and I heard this like ding ding. I'm like, then do it. I'm like, then do it. I'm like, sometimes we have to, just go after our dreams, no matter how that's the thing, you guys. We have been programmed to believe that our dreams aren't important, or that like we, don't need, or that, hold on. I feel like somebody's trying to talk to us. Oh. Ooh, this is cool. Okay. I feel like there's these two. Is it both of these cards? Is it this one? Okay. Do you want us to look at this card right now? Do you want us to look at this card right now? This one first? Okay. Okay, so this is really interesting because we were just talking about money, right? So this card came, and it's the Ace of Autumn. The Ace of Autumn. Look at that. I shouldn't have moved it. That was my fault. Sorry, guys. The Ace of Autumn. So we're still in the autumn, right? So we're in the thinking and the thinking and, or no, excuse me, that would be the swords. We're in the action. We're in the action and the fire. And, the ace is number 1. So it's about new beginnings, which is really exciting because that's where I feel like we are. I feel like we're totally in a new beginning right now. Ooh, it says a windfall of money, advice or assistance from others, a very successful project, a happy change in your career. See? Oh, and she's so joyful, or they, whoever, can't really tell. It looks like a little girl. But she's so joyful and she's so happy, and she's got candles going and she's got books open. I feel like some of you, if you're thinking about going back to school, I'm hearing yes. But I'm also hearing like with some of you, like for instance, am I glad I went to college? Yes, because I learned so much. I gained such an amazing experience. But there were many times in college where I'm like, I could have learned this shit online, like for real. Because I went back to school when, like, almost 10 years ago, or over 10 years ago when I was 37. So, the internet and YouTube was, there. And I was like, man, I spent all this money, to go to school. So they're saying like really research it before you do it though. Don't just be like, oh, I want to go back to school and just go back to school. Like really think about what you want to do and look into seeing whether you need a degree. Like I was talking to, especially we were just talking about the co-op. One of my sisters from the co-op was saying that she really wanted to be a therapist. And I said, what do you think I do? I'm like, that's exactly what I do. I'm like, I'm not a doctor. I'm like, I'm just giving advice. I'm like, this is my school, my earth school that I've gone to, my life college that I've gone through, my experiences. This is from my level of consciousness. But I said to her, I'm like, you're not prescribing medicine to people. I'm like, why don't you do that if you want to do that? And they're like, yeah, I was thinking about going to school. And I was like, do you have to go to school though? I'm like, maybe you just need a certification of some kind, So that's what I mean, like really look into it before you just like dive into like, paying lots of money to go to a school that, possibly you don't want to invest that kind of money in. So that's one thing that I got. But also, when it said a windfall of money, advice, or assistance from others, yeah, the very successful project. I got a lot of hits on art. Like right now, like my stomach feels like butterflies. There must be some of you who are kind of nervous about this, but they're saying don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Just go for it. Think about this right now. With all the shit that's happening on the planet, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to tap too far into things because I don't want to go there. But think about it like this. It's like, what if the world blew up tomorrow? Are you just going to sit in this fear and this like, well, maybe I should? It's like, no, fucking like believe in yourself. If you are on this channel, if you are watching this show, that means you're a really powerful, powerful light being. You are a starseed. You are placed here for a reason. Do not let the muggle teachings and mentality dictate who you are or why you're here. Feel inside your intuition who you are and what you want. Because like they talked about releasing the negativity, expect powerful change. If you expect powerful change, then powerful change will happen. If we think positive thoughts, then things will happen. If we're in the negative, think about it for a minute, but then go to the positive and keep going to the positive. And I don't care if you're going to sit in this like, you know, sweet little poly-perfect for a little while. It's like, then sit in the poly-perfect for a minute. You can sit in that. That's okay. That's what they want you to do. They want you to believe in yourself and believe in like your gifts right now. That's like such a huge thing right now with spirit. I'm hearing is like to believe in your gifts. Believe in your gifts. Where's the other one? Okay, then the next one that came. Oh, my friend got this card. Is the King of Spring. Oh my gosh, this is such a great card, you guys. They're like, bye-bye. The King of, look at him. He's like, move out of my way. I'm the King of Spring. Look at him. So proud, so proud. That is one proud king. And not afraid. Do you see that? Absolutely not afraid. Standing strong, powerful. That's how they want you to look at yourself. This is a message from your spirit guides. This is how your spirit guides see you. They see you as wise. What are these words on here? Wise, theatrical, inspiring, and innovative. And you know, spring is like the cups. So this is about emotions, which were in this very strong Piscean energy, and water. And with the water signs, this could be a Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, which actually, I don't even know if my friend and I realized this when we were looking at that. How funny. So it says a financial windfall. See, money is coming, you guys. Money is coming. A financial windfall. Your leadership skills are needed now. An unexpected supporter of your cause. It's really interesting because he's the King of Spring, but behind him are these very like, there's so many things going on. They almost look like, do you see those straw things? They almost look like teepees. So it made me think like Native American. So I'm feeling a lot of strong indigenous energy in this. And you know, spring's all about rebirth and renewal, right? It's all about, and just like the ace, we just had the ace of autumn. It's about new beginnings. So a lot is going to happen. Right now, what I'm getting from spirit is that if you put the work in, by the time spring comes, and, you know, spring is going to start, March 21st, and then it goes until June 20th or 22nd, somewhere in there. I always forget the exact days. But, you know, so if you do the hard work now, from now until, you know, spring, when spring starts, spring equinox, if you do the work now, that's what's going to happen. They're saying if you do the work, you will be rewarded. The money will come. It'll be a windfall. But they're saying to be wise about it. And it's okay to be theatrical because it's about the emotions, right? So being theatrical could be, you know, you just need to like cry and like get shit out. It's like, then get it out. And then innovative, like think about it. Like, you know, innovative is about new ideas and being creative. Like this is the time right now to be creative. Like anything you want to do, even if you're just like drawing and putting on music and trying to think about like what you want to do, and being inspiring and inspiring yourself. Be the leader that you were brought here to be. An unexpected supporter is going to come and back you now. All right. We may have gone to another video. I'm not quite sure. But I'm going to see if we need any more. Would the fairies like to give us any more cards right now? No. So we're going to go on to the past life deck. This is our last deck of the reading. Our message from our spirit guides. Oh, let me see. This might want to come in. Does this want to come in right now? If you watched the new moon reading, you'll remember that the only animal we got was the bat. And as I was picking things up, I don't even want to get into the whole story and waste time, but the bat came through again. So clearly the message was not like received. So it's got to come in. Is it in an upright position? Oh, is it in a reverse position? Okay. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Because sometimes when they come back like that, it's because we need to heed the advice of the other one. Sometimes it means, like, if it's a negative thing, when they come to us again, then it's telling us, like, good job. Like, you did the work, you put the time in, so they're, like, rewarding us. So the bat is all about rebirth, too. That's why this doesn't surprise me, right? Because it's all about new beginnings and rebirth. So it says, sacred bat flew to me from the darkness of the cave. Womb-like reflections, answers it gave. Birth, death, rebirth, cycles of the whole, never ending, just eclipsed the journey of the soul. If bat is still hanging upside down in the cave and immersed in darkness, you have met its contrary medicine. This position leads to stagnation of the spirit and a refusal to acknowledge your true destiny, which is always to use the talents you have to the fullest. Is there some area of your life that is dammed up and therefore stopped your desire to create? See, we're talking about creative energy again. If so, look at surrendering to the death of that stagnation. That can also imply that in the reversal of your natural cycle of rebirth, you are trying to go at life in a backward mode. This is a breech birth in a sense. This type of occluded understanding of how to go about freeing yourself can lead to a stillbirth if you struggle too long in the birth canal. The final, I was getting from this too. We were talking about this a few readings ago. We'll come back to it. The final outcome can be death of the body. Some people think themselves into a corner without obstacles that are illusionary. By the time they decide what to do, the opportunities are gone and old age is upon them. All of their dreams have passed them by. Reverse bat says to use your mind, courage, and strength to ensure an easy labor and quick delivery into your new state of understanding and growth. Surrender to the new life you have created from thought and desire and bravely greet that dawn. You know, in the upright position, they told me to come back and read this. It says, if you resist your destiny, it could be a long, drawn-out, or painful death. The universe is always asking you to grow and become your future. To do so, you must die the shaman's death. We talked about that before. I was talking about how when I got really sick and my body, like, I went from 180 pounds to 88 pounds, like, I got pancreatitis and I had to, like, my body had to, like, almost, like, die. It's like I had to kill every old cell that was in my body so I can have a rebirth. I don't want other people to have to go through that, but it was something so quite profound. So allow yourself to, like, break down, to, like, go through these cycles that it needs to go through. If you are concerned with today and tomorrow, but not much further, you may forget to see further down the road. Tribal teachings say that you are responsible for future generations because you are the ancestors of the future. Whatever you do today will affect the next 7 generations. Think about that for a second. Every decision, every thought is to create a state of stagnation or rebirth for those that follow you on the good red road. If you are blocking yourself, you may be blocking the generations to come. Bat flies at night, and in the night are born your dreams. These are the dreams that build future civilizations, so nourish them well. That's why we're flying into the past life cards, because, you know, we need to find out, like, what it is that, you know, we need to release. What is it that we need to release from the past life so that we can get out of that stagnation and continue the birth that we need right now, the rebirth that we need right now? There's a lot coming through right now. I know, let it go. Some of you, I'm feeling some really heavy emotions from you. That's okay. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Doesn't belong to you anymore. Listen, today I got this really strong message from Spirit that we are the bloodlines that are here to completely change, like, what's going to happen next. We were placed here strategically as starseeds, as lightworkers from long parts of our bloodline. Earlier today we were watching something at a cemetery and I just had this, like, huge breakthrough, and I said to Adam, like, I just thought of something. And he goes, what? I go, well, if for some of us, I go, we jump right back into our bodies. I go, some people don't wait like hundreds or thousands of years. Some people will, like, you know, Like I was born in 1971, but who's to say, like I could have died in, 1968 and then like came right back in 1971, right? So I said to Ed, I go, isn't it weird to think that we probably have gravestones somewhere on this planet with different names on them? And he's like, oh my God, I never thought of that. I go, right? I'm like, think about that for a minute. Like, really think about that for a minute. You might have caught one of my episodes where I talked about that. If you ever see a picture like of an old family member, like maybe a great grandmother or even a grandmother, and you're like, gosh, I feel such a kinship to them or whatever. I'm like, it's probably because you were them. You know what I mean? Like some people come right back. So we're here to heal our bloodline. So let's find out. Let's hear what our past life cards have to say. Ooh, they're like stuck. All right, let it flow, you guys. Ooh, okay. I heard let it go, let it flow, let it go, let it flow, let it go, let it flow, let it go. Let it go, let it flow, let it go, let it flow, let it go, let it flow, let it go. Well, I'm like going for the big guns here. I've got Palo Santo in my right hand, and I've got Ancient Cedar. I believe this one's from the Olympic Peninsula or Mount Rainier. Let it go. I am cleansing for us. This is cleansing our energy field, our auric field. Let it go. Let it go so that your body can release the trauma so that you can unblock what you need to. Oh, here we go. The arts. This is something from your past life, right? Like maybe something that you either were really good at, but you weren't brave enough to put out into the world. I heard to let the bat go. Or, and art can be anything. I mean, it's a guitar and there's a piano, but you could be a writer, you could be a singer, a dancer, philosophy, like a lot of, I mean, my gosh, I said, even though you're a surgeon, there's still like a way, like that's why some of the best surgeons in the world, because they're like an artist. So, and, art is interpretive. So it's any way you want to look at it. But this is really important because this is why we were just talking about blocking our creativity. Our creativity is being blocked. Well, this is why, because you're blocking the part of you that like wants to come out, your artistic side. I have a lot of ties to this card. It says, you have artistic and creative talents that desire expression. This card comes to you as a sign that you would do well in an occupation relating to the arts. It also indicates that you were involved in the arts in prior lifetimes, which can explain your natural talents in the present. As a prodigy, you have artistic skills that are innate and don't require training or the need to practice. These inherent abilities have been passed down from prior lives. It's important to explore and give yourself permission to unleash your artistic side. This could lead to a lucrative career or fulfilling avocation or hobby. So take the arts and crafts classes and follow your inner guidance about creativity. Perfect example, my grandfather used to play the piano by ear. And, people would be like, that's really rare that, he can play the piano like that. And now it makes sense. I bet my grandfather was a piano player, so it's not just that he's playing by ear. He remembers. It's like muscle memory. You know what I mean? Like, or it's like riding a bike. Some things you learned it once and you don't have to learn it again. What do you do that you're naturally good at? Is it drawing? Is it painting? Is it sculpting? Is it writing? What is it? What is it? And it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be in like the arts realm, because I'm feeling like it's multiple things for you guys. Like my friend that was over here on Saturday, we were talking about like making clothes and repurposing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I made a whole entire design like line out of that. It was when I was in college to be a fashion designer that my draping professor was like, you're not a ready to wear designer. She's like, you're not an everyday, she's like, you're a wearable art designer. Like she goes, you are the person that makes like, $50,000 dresses. And I was really big into like doing it all by hand and sewing. A lot of my best pieces I ever made took me 150 hours to make because I did it by hand. So I understand why some dresses cost $10,000, because sometimes the materials alone cost $10,000 to make the dress. Is that outlandish and crazy? Yes. Are there children starving all over the world and that's ridiculous? Yes. But at the same time, our arts are not ridiculous, and we do add something to the planet. Why do you think I'm pushing so hard to do these books? Because Spirit keeps showing me, like, when I've talked about this before, but I didn't really know. I mean, of course I knew about Harry Potter. I don't live under a rock, but I didn't know much about J.K. Rowling. I didn't know much about her story or anything like that. But she came to me, her higher self came to me in meditation about maybe 6 years ago. And she told me that I was going to write, or she said, why would you write one book when you can write 13? And I never understood what she was saying. I didn't understand what she was talking about. And then I kept hearing over the last like 5 years, like, you know, from different psychics, you know, you're supposed to write, you're supposed to write, you're supposed to write. I never felt like that was my thing. And, you know, and then when I started seeing last year how this was like going to be a series of books that were going to be movies, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is bigger than me. And then I realized that I need that, because I need that kind of money to do what I was really brought here to do as a starseed, which is to implement a spiritual center where people can come, and it's not about money, and it's not, you know what I mean, they can come to heal. And I want to have like a compound, you know, like hundreds of acres, you know, at least my dream is to have like 150 acres where it's like different places and there's animals and it's different types of therapy for people to come and heal. So in order for me to do that, I need a lot of money. I mean, I might have some millionaires or billionaires who would believe in me and invest in me, sure, but I've always been one to do things myself, and I know that for me, in my past lives, arts was a huge thing for me, and I either never made it or I almost just made it, like those kind of things, but I didn't, or because of I was speaking my truth, I was murdered for it. So I've gotten a lot of like writer, in this deck especially, I've gotten writer and scribe, you know, before. So obviously it's not my first time. According to some of my past life meditations, apparently I wrote a book for the Bible that I was murdered for, that was never ever put into the Bible. So you know what I mean? It's like, it's interesting. There's a lot of things that, you know, and who knows, that could just be part of a past life that I think, but it's, you know what I mean? Let me see. Do we have any more cards? Okay, because I feel like we're ready to wrap it up. It's already almost an hour, but I'm here. Oh, here we go. Oh, so listen, they want you to have trust and faith that it's going to work out. Faith in your angels and faith in yourself. That's what the angels are saying to me right now. They want you to have faith in them and faith in yourself. Look at that. Do you see how the way that the light's hitting it? Like you saw the way I put the card down. But you know what I mean? It's almost like I feel like those are like almost like chakras. So, you know, we need to like work on healing ourselves. Our inner child is a huge one right now. That's a big one for us to move forward. So maybe it's something when you were a child that you love to do with writing, or something with the arts. I'm not sure. I'm going to put these back in because I feel like sometimes it feels like it's going to be for another reading. So let's see. Or sometimes it's just a part 2. Let's see I'm hearing multiple things. So I just want to make sure and check in. It's late and I'm tired. Is it in our greatest and highest good to pull any more cards tonight for this reading? Is it in our greatest and highest good to read the trust and faith? Okay. Okay. Also, a lot of you, your fear-based and your money issues come from that you were Native American before. And sometimes when this card comes up, it's not always just Native American. It's also indigenous. So, you know, if you're... Hold on. Okay. Wow, there's so many messages coming through. I feel like we're almost starting a whole brand new reading. This is so bizarre. So yes, they want me to read this because they said it's really going to resonate with some of you. This card signifies that you had an important past life as a Native American, which is connected to your current journey in this life. If you've been drawn to Native American artifacts, cultures, and spirituality, this is because they're familiar to your soul. Studying Native American teachings can help you awaken ancient memories and knowledge that you already have stored within you. This card can also signify indigenous cultures from other countries as well. Perhaps you have some hidden anger or pain because of a battle or loss during your time as an indigenous person. As with other past life traumas, that's what they were talking about. You know, you could talk to a past life, regressionist therapist, so you can heal that old energy. And this way you can retain the lessons and love from that lifetime and release the painful blocks. But what I'm getting from this is, sure, you can go and talk to someone like that if that feels right. Also, I'm hearing in meditation, a lot of you like to just say that you don't have the power, you give your power away too easily. And I'm getting from spirit, they're like, no, you have the power to heal yourself through meditation, to go through your past life stuff. Yes, you can work with a therapist. I know some people, if you're interested, reach out to me. I know of a few people who've worked with some really powerful past life regressionists. I can get their information for you. So reach out to me below or send me a personal, if you look in the about section, I have my email address there. It's lulaslabyrinth@gmail.com. And I can get you that link. But yeah, so working with this, that sometimes when we have things that are so ingrained in us from our past, we can't move forward in this lifetime. Okay, do we need to pull any more cards, Spirit? No, that's it. I heard this wasn't going to go longer than an hour. So yeah, so let's pull back this one here so you guys get the messages. So expect a powerful change. Expect powerful change, and powerful change will come. That's what they're saying. That is the message from your spirit guides. Expect that it will happen. If you, what's that old, if you build it, they will come. It's the same for your brain. If you think it, it will be. So be it. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you gained whatever you needed from this. And if you'd like to support this channel, I put down in the comments below ways to support with either donating more decks to our fun readings or also in monetary donations. And if you can't do either one, then just please light a candle or just say a prayer for me in an exchange of energy. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh.